that I had number one two weeks ago, but then I dropped them down because of the inner fighting that was in mainstream news for all last week on Man Hour. That's AJ Brown versus Jalen Hurts. That beef quickly got squashed. I mean, they said, bad baby, let's go. But this team now has won 10 games in a row over the Browns, over the Giants, Bengals, Jaguars, Cowboys, Commanders, Rams, the Ravens, the Panthers, and now the most recently victim are the Pittsburgh Steelers. And that is a 12-2 first in the NFC East, and that is the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay, as I said before, I don't think they should be number one. I think the Eagles are the most dysfunctional but most successful team in the NFL. Like, despite all their drama with AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts, all the stuff that they've had, all their last year, all their drama they had with Nick Sirianni, all this stuff, but they keep winning. They still have a great roster. The GMs keep making great moves. And then, you got to give it to them. They're playing good. They're on a 10-game winning streak. You can't, you got to give that respect. No matter, we always talk about, hey, you haven't played this team. They haven't played anybody, but you play whoever's in front of your schedule, and they've been dominating, and you got to give that to them.
Yeah, they have the longest active winning streak in the NFL right now, so I think that's why they do deserve to be number one. But I do find it funny that every Monday, Tuesday, we're talking about, is this it for the Eagles? Are they falling apart? The beginning of the season, it was Nick Sirianni, and now it's the drama between Hurts and AJ Brown, and what's going to happen next week after this game against Washington. What's going to be the storyline there? It seems like every week there's a new story, and it's never a good story. But this team, week after week, continues to put their differences or drama or whatever you want to call it to the side and go out there and whoop that ass. So I think that, the Eagles do deserve to be the number one seed.
Yeah, so guys,
the number one in power rankings, excuse me.
Yeah. So when you guys look at the Philadelphia Eagles, they have the best rushing attack in the NFL, averaging 162.2 yards per game with 26 touchdowns. They have the sixth ranked total offense. Top-notch offense. Now let's flash over to the defense. Mark, they have the best defense in the NFL. They have the they have the best pass defense, only giving up 173 yards per game. They have the seventh best rushing defense, giving up 102 yards per game. And you talk about scoring defense, they are the number one scoring defense in the NFL, tied with your Denver Broncos at 17.6 per game. However, they have given up 26 touchdowns to the Broncos 24. But the only weak part about this whole Philadelphia Eagles team is their passing offense, which are ranked 31st in the NFL. That is terrible, right? But when you have Saquon Barkley and Kenneth Gainwell damn near getting 200 yards every game, why pass the ball? Guys, the Philadelphia Eagles are the most dominant team in the NFL. Just like Coffee said, every Monday, every Tuesday. Oh, I sit here. What did AJ Brown say now? What did Jalen Hurts say now? Who did Kevin Sirianni holler at now? Spoiler alert: it was the offensive line coach. Just like every week, it is dysfunctional out in public, but yet they keep winning, and they keep winning. Guys, this is a championship caliber team. If this team is not in the Super Bowl, I want to be very, very shocked. Barring some epic collapse in the next 3 weeks, this is a Super Bowl team. They are number one this week's. Mark, you still don't agree, do you? Even though those stats are out there, you still don't agree.
I think they're a great team, Buck. I've been high on the Eagles. You know this. I've been high on them. I think their dysfunctionality at some point might come and bite them in the butt. Who knows if they can handle these problems, if they can just handle them in-house and they don't air out their laundry like they know how. But if they could do that, I think they could be successful. But I don't know, man. You never know.
So Jim says, there was no drama, manufactured soap opera by the corrupted media. So basically, Jim is saying, we are trying to make something out of nothing. And Jim, I want to challenge your opinion on that, because Brandon Graham is the one that said that. It was not a read in between the lines, a piece together quote. Brandon Graham said that from start to finish. Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown hate each other. I don't know what happened, but they hate each other now. That was Brandon Graham's word for word. How is that manufactured? It come out and they said it, right? Ryan says the Vikings injury list looks great. That's the one thing that looks great about the Vikings. I'm kidding. Alpha Rob says the Eagles are okay, but Jalen Hurts doesn't scare anyone. And honestly, that's probably the way they want it, Alpha Rob. They don't want Jalen Hurts to be the top guy, right? Hoffy, what are your thoughts about that?
The dude benches like 500 pounds and squats like 1,000 pounds. I don't think anyone is not afraid of Jalen Hurts.
I think they're mean by his passing abilities, Hoffy. Come on, who cares about weights?
Dude, come on. He can beat you with his legs. He can beat you with his arm. Yes, I think he's more. His legs are a better asset to him than his arm. But I still think that with the weapons that he has in his tight end and then his two offensive weapons on the outside in Smith and Brown, I think that this offense is a well-oiled machine. You got Barkley, you got two great offensive wide receivers. You got a pretty solid, tight end. The offensive line isn't playing all that bad, and then that defense is balling. So I think anything less than a Super Bowl appearance from this Philadelphia Eagles would be a failure of a season.
Hoffy, I think you're wrong, man. I think you can't say that Jalen Hurts is a really good passer, because if he was a really good passer, they'd be passing the ball more, and they're not. Because even A.J. Brown is one of his best friends is coming out and saying that the passing game needs to be better. And I'm just going to give you an example of that. Jalen Hurts has never been a really good passer. Does anybody remember the national championship game that he got taken out of the game for Tua because Tua could throw the ball better? And they ended up winning the game because nobody was threatened by Jalen Hurts throwing the ball. And in the NFL, it's the same thing.
I mean, didn't he have in his MVP season only like two interceptions?
I mean, he had a good year that year passing, but I'm saying over his whole career, he hasn't been great at passing the ball.
Yeah, and Mark, I thought the same thing, right? I believe it was earlier this season. It may have been last season, right? I was very, very down on Jalen Hurts. Like, I thought he was just a product of the system. I thought he was bad. But if you go back and you look at the stats, if you actually look at the stats for Jalen Hurts, passing yards, passing percentage, touchdowns to interception, he gets better each and every year. Now, this year might be totally different, right? Their passing is way down, but you have Saquon Barkley. Why not use him and abuse him, right? Much like the Ravens should be doing with Derrick Henry, but they're not, but we digress. But use and abuse Saquon Barkley. His window is 2 years, maybe 3 years tops. Then Jalen Hurts can be that elite top 10 quarterback that people think he can be, right? So, and
they're playing ahead in a lot of these games, so they're killing the clock. They're pounding the ball. They haven't had to. They're not playing from behind and having to, throw the ball 40 something times a game. If you can have Jalen Hurts throw the ball 18 to 25 times, hand the ball off, just as many times to Barkley, and then have Jalen Hurts also run the ball, run the option. I think that's exactly what this Eagles team should be doing, and I think that's how this team is built.
Mark, any final thoughts before we head to the comments?
I think Javi is right on that, because that's what they've been doing. They keep him limited to his passing. They want him to only throw like 25, 28 times a game. They want to run Saquon the ball. They want to, like you said, he's got a 2-year window. They're gonna use him up. So yeah, but I still don't think like he's a great passer, and I think that's gonna hurt them later down the road, because they're gonna have to pass on some teams that are really good on defense.
But they do have one of the best defenses in the NFL, so only time will tell if that does happen. Alpha Rob says playoff teams going to make Hurts throw the ball.
Yep.
I think teams have been trying to make Hurts throw the ball, but Saquon Barkley just hurdles the competition no matter how many guys you have in the box. Like, He's having an MVP
That
year.
ain't no.
Yeah.
If they're running slants 7 to 8 yard pass plays, that's where Jalen Hurts is going to be successful. He's not going to be someone like Patrick Mahomes that's throwing the ball 25 yards and being successful. He is a short intermediate passer that can kill you with his legs, and then you got Saquon Barkley as well.
Yeah. Speaking of killing with those legs, those 37-inch quads that he freaking has. Good Lord, those things